Hello, hello, hello. Uh, we shall be cooking some salmon teriyaki today, and I'm just going to wait a few minutes for people to start joining the stream, and then we'll get to it. I'm excited. This isn't like authentic or anything. This is really, really easy stuff you can do at home. I'm using a big piece of salmon, but you can do it in smaller pieces. And yeah, it's really easy and satisfying. So yeah, I'll give it a few minutes and then we'll start. I'm gonna put my apron on this time because yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's put this on straight. That looks that looks relatively put on straight. Let me lift my sleeves as well. Hello, thanks. Thank you very much. She's uh she's about 20 years old, so older than probably most people on this streaming channel. We're gonna be making salmon teriyaki today, but cheat style, easy style. Oh, wanna become famous? I'm okay, thanks. I can't even delete it. Nice. Yeah, I'd like to become famous. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. You have to have great personality, which mine's questionable, and great cooking skills, which Italian food, yeah, sure. Anything else, it's a bit trickier. Oh, this is a tutorial about rolling sleeves. Did you know that? It takes me about 20 minutes to roll one sleeve. Nah, it's because she's left-handed, so she's bad at this. Okay, other side. Also, I have washed my hands uh, more times than usual because we've got COVID. But definitely before cooking, wash your hands. That's important. See, this side's so much easier. Dunzo. Okay, so we've got some amazing salmon. I'm going to show it you in a second. That's my oven saying she's ready. Let's store this. So here's my beautiful piece of salmon. It's a side of salmon. We're three people, so this is great for us. You can also do it in the slices. It's not a problem. So let me grab him, and I'm going to put him in this dish. There we go. This is going to go to the bin, and I'm going to wash my hands again. There we go. So I mentioned that I'm cheating, but this is because I don't know how to do a teriyaki sauce. And to be honest, it's not something that's in my repertoire. But I found this uh, teriyaki sauce, and I found this, and it's actually really, really good. Um, and what you do with it is you put it on your salmon. And I like to marinate my salmon in this for a few minutes before putting it in the oven. I've put a decent amount, as you can see. And I've put my oven on fan at 180 because that's perfect. And then what I do is at the end, I'll grill it a little bit so it gets a little bit of a crispy top. So I'm going to put this aside so that it can marinate a little bit. There we go, that's out of the way. Some other little things that you'll need is some sesame seeds and this thing, like a long onion. And that's just going to contrast the sweetness of the teriyaki. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel off the things here and we're going to chop her up finely. If you have any questions, please do ask. I might not have the answers, but I'll certainly try and answer. There we go. So we chop off the end. I'm going to point the camera down a bit so you can see I'm so short. We got a follow. Oh, thank you for the follow, Mo, Kylie. This is a baby channel. We've just started. I did risotto last week, but guess who didn't save the video? May. I am chopping these finely, relatively finely. I'm not too bothered about the chop. And these will go in part in the sauce, which I'll show you in a moment, and in part on top of our rice, which is also going to be cheat rice. Oh my God, she's cheating so much. There we go. I'm not going to use the top bits. I'm going to throw away this rubbish. And I'm going to let you see my face again. Hi. So I'm going to chop these. I'm going to separate these out a little bit so that they form rings. And keep these aside for now. My chopping board is a bit warped, so the knife doesn't go all the way through, which is a little bit annoying. There we go. So we can save these. And that's all the chopping you need to do. That's it. That's genuinely it. Next step is to rinse off my hands again. There we go. Next step is that we're going to toast off some of these sesame seeds, and toasting them gives you a nice flavor. So we're going to put them in this little pan. I'm just going to do a small layer. I'm not putting any olive oil, nothing. The oiliness of the seeds will do all of that for you. So I'm going to turn the temperature up. Actually, I don't need that double pot. Here we go. So it's medium to high. And as we learned last time, if you guys were watching, never use metal on metal. Never use metal on non-stick. Just don't use metal utensils on your pots and pans because that's how you destroy them. So I'm using wooden. Wooden is my favorite. This is about my age. So this is old. And so we'll leave this here to toast a little bit. And what I'm going to be pairing this with is this easy, really easy coconut rice, because I don't know how to make proper coconut rice. And I think a lot of people don't either. And this is a really good alternative, which is ready in 2 minutes. It takes no time and It's really easy. They're often on offer at the supermarket. So I stock up on them when they're on offer, and they're great. Really, really good alternative. You need to mix it up a bit, pressing it seductively, and and then you just microwave it 2 minutes. So it's great. So I usually put my salmon once it's completed on a nice bed of coconut rice. You can put it on plain rice, but I just like the pairing of having coconut rice with my teriyaki salmon. Let me show you. So here's my salmon again, and I'm gonna baste her a little bit before I put her in the oven. I'm assuming she's a she. I could be wrong. I'm gonna baste her a little bit and show her some love before popping her in the oven. This piece of salmon will only take a few minutes. I mean, it does depend on how you like your salmon cooked. I don't like mine to be overcooked or too firm, but it does really depend on you. So I've basted her well, and my oven is ready. So I'm about to put her in. I'm gonna put her in at 180, let's say for 8 minutes, because I'm gonna finish off the cooking with some grill. So once the 8 minutes is done, I'm gonna pull her out, I'm gonna baste her again, and then grill her. Okay, this is definitely basted. She's basted, she's done. Let me pop her into that. 8 minutes in. I'm gonna stir a little bit my sesame seeds. They will start getting, I'm gonna turn this up a little bit. They're gonna start getting a bit shiny, and that's just because the oil is coming out. Seeds and nuts and all of these things have a lot of natural oils, which is why you don't need to add anything to your pan when toasting them. So this is also the same for pine nuts, which is used a lot in Italian cooking. If you put any kind of fat in your pan, you don't need it. So what I do is I've stirred them and I'm going to flatten them out. And now I'm going to grab another little pan and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. I've got this little pan here, and inside I'm going to place maybe 2/4 of the bottle of the teriyaki sauce that we used. And we're doing this to make a reduction because we want some extra sauce with our fish. I mean, it was a huge piece of fish. So this is just to add some sauce. I might just put the whole thing in. So we don't waste anything. What I do is once I'm done with any kind of bottle, olive oil, vinegar, whatever, anything that's a little bit thicker, so vinegar, exclude that. But olive oil, mayonnaise, ketchup, whatever, store it upside down for a little bit before you throw it away. Keep it on a flat counter, and everything's going to drip down. So then we just pop everything in there, and then you can throw it away. There's no point wasting it. Let me put this up a little bit. Um, oh, hi. Thank you. Thank you, Shaldini. How are you? Remember the scallion or the long onion we chopped up? We're going to use a good handful and put it into our sauce that's reducing. And only reserve just a little bit for decoration. We don't need that much. Okay, so I've saved a little bit for the decoration on top. There we go. This is probably dripped enough. Yeah, we got quite a bit out, which is good. And now we can throw her away. So if you've just joined, oh, I'm good. How's the hype woman of Hanger 9? She's good. She's good. Thank you. I sent off some packages today. I'm quite excited for Hanger 9. Our two competition winners from the pub quiz will finally get their items. um, but yeah, no, Hanger 9. She's good. She's good. Cooking. Second greatest passion. First, gaming. Second, cooking. Um, these seeds now have gotten really, really shiny. Don't know if you can see that. They've gotten quite shiny and they're starting to smell really aromatic. So just keep an eye on them because they can go from being really pale to being burnt, and I've learned that the hard way, which, yeah. If you just joined in, we are making salmon teriyaki, easy style, because I'm not going to pretend that I know how to make it from scratch. We have marinated briefly our salmon in some teriyaki sauce, and it's now in the oven for a few minutes. It was 8 minutes, and then I'm going to grill it for 3, 4 minutes just to get that crust. And right now I'm working on the garnishes, which are some toasted sesame, and I cut up a long green onion, which part I've put in some of the teriyaki sauce, which I'm reducing to put on top at the end. I love that follow sound. It sounds really good. I will be working on making this stream look nicer so you don't have just my face and me standing awkwardly low. But technology, eh? It's not my best friend. So yeah, I'm slowly learning everything. As a side dish to my salmon, I was saying earlier that we're gonna have Tilda coconut rice because it's easy, it's good. You don't need to wait 20 minutes or more to have it done. And it's just 2 minutes in the microwave because this is a cheap, easy meal that looks like you've slaved away, but we know we haven't. Okay, so she's starting to smell quite toasty. And they clump together a bit more because, oh, you can't see that, because of the oils. So if I had added oil, they would have just been frying, and I don't know if they turn into popcorn, but they would have turned into something else. My sauce is reducing. It's still really liquid. We want it to get a little bit thicker, not too thick, because when it cools, it will thicken up as well. But we don't want that. So anyone else into cooking? And if so, what's your favorite style of cooking? Cook the salmon. Yeah. Another thing that my mother has taught me is try to cook tidy. And I'm struggling. Um, but on stream, I try and cook tidy. So I'm going to put these away. Also, if you can't stay through this stream, it's not a problem. I've finally figured out how to save um, my videos so you can catch up on all of this later. Okay, so they're lightly toasted. They've changed color, and I'm pulling them off the heat now. I'm putting them on a cool part of the stove because this stove is electric and I hate it, and it doesn't cool down very quickly. So So if you turn it off and just leave it there, it will burn. Found that out the hard way as well. My teriyaki is slowly brewing. I'm gonna get a nice dish to serve everything on. There we go. I'm gonna serve everything in here and keep that on the side. Our fish is done in 3, 2, 1. Just made a noise. Let me use my mitts. Actually, I don't know what these are called in English. There we go. I can pop it on here because it is hot. There we go. We didn't break anything. So at this point, I'm going to turn my oven to grill. 240 is its full. So grill on 240. It's just going to be like a couple of minutes. It's just to give it some color. And I'm going to use a spoon that I basted with it earlier. And without burning myself horribly, I am going to... The salmon is not cooked yet, so you can't really skip this step. But she's warmed through. She's about halfway there. We're just going to do a more vigorous cooking at this point. This dish can also be done in a pan, but I just like using my oven. But if you do it on a pan, what I would say is marinate it, like it's the same steps. Marinate it and then put it in your pan and cover it for a bit just to get the heat right through your salmon on medium heat, and then cook until flaky. Pull it out of the pan and then reduce whatever teriyaki you have in the pan. Okay. I'm gonna keep basting until my oven gets a bit hotter. I haven't salted the fish. I haven't put any other kind of flavor on the fish because this teriyaki is very flavorful. But if you do want, you can add ginger to it. You can add, I wouldn't add honey just because it's already quite sweet. But ginger is really nice. It kind of cuts through the sweetness. I'm using the green onion to cut through the sweetness, which you'll see in a little bit. So this bad girl is basted quite well. I'm going to put her back in the oven. And I've successfully not burnt myself twice with this, which is great. My sauce is starting to reduce. She's bubbling away. Don't forget about your sauce. It's easy to forget about these things because this is all just relatively quick. So it's nice and easy. It's going to need a couple of minutes under the grill. My grill still isn't super hot, but it still needed to cook a little bit. So let's say we'll give it about 7 minutes. Let me put the duration, otherwise I shall forget. 7. And so we've got basically everything prepped. I'm going to put these sesames in a bowl so you can see them. And if you don't have sesame, it's fine. The more important ingredient is the green onion. just because otherwise it just doesn't cut the fat. Because it's quite a rich dish, especially with the coconut rice, which is relatively creamy, and the fish, which is a very, very rich type of fish. I only do this also with salmon, not with any other fish, because it is the one that it works best with. Put this one to the side. And as a quick reminder, this is the sauce that I use, and it's already got sesame in it. There's another sauce that they have from the same brand called that it's got garlic in it. But to be honest, and this is weird to say as an Italian person, I prefer the one without garlic. Um, this one's far superior. Okay, so she's still reducing. I've put the green onion in there. Ooh, I've put the green onion in there just so it takes away a little bit of that bite and imparts the flavor into the sauce. And yeah, so this is my topping. In this bowl, which has the sesame inside, I'm going to put also the scallions. So I can put away, I keep on calling them scallions. I don't know if that's the correct term. Green onion, long onion, something. An onion that's long, makes you cry less. There we go. So that's going to be basically just your topping. It's going to go over. What I do is I place the rice in that dish that you saw, and I'll put a layer of sesame. And then I'll put the salmon on top, and then put some more sesame on top, just to give it a bit of the crunch. So now that I've done that, oh, okay, we're up to temperature, which is good. And the sauce is bubbling away. So you saw we put quite a bit of sauce um, in our tray to go in the oven with the salmon, and that's because part of it's going to reduce. So you want to cook enough so that it reduces, it becomes nice and sticky. And that's the same thing we're doing with the pan. If you put too much of the sauce when you put it in the oven, you're just going to boil your fish. And no, I don't want boiled fish. Let me put these two things away because we're done with them. So we have a cleaner work surface. Work clean. That's what my mom always used to tell me, and still does. These ones, super easy, super quick. You mix them up a little bit just to have, because everything goes to the bottom. Rip off the side, but you know the instructions. Rip off a little bit of the corner. Same thing here. You can actually cook these in a pan as well. I do another dish, which is chili, olive oil, garlic prawns. And once I take them out, I heat up some lemon and coriander rice in the same pan because I'm not using that much olive oil. And yeah, you flavor your rice at the same time, which is great. I'm all for, easy tips and tricks. So I'm going to pop these together in the microwave. And because there's two of them, it needs a bit longer than 2 minutes because my microwave just can't handle it. My sauce is reducing nicely. And we're almost there. We're almost, how easy was that? My dish is still here. You can see it like that, kind of. Excuse my camera setup. It is my laptop. Uh, I did this to kind of share my love of cooking and just to show how easy cooking is. It doesn't need to be difficult. You don't need to go and spend hundreds on stuff. You just need to, one, know what to pick, two, know what's in your comfort zone, and three, also experiment occasionally. This dish all started with an experiment, and my mum and dad loved it. They don't usually eat uh, many other foods from Italian food, and they absolutely loved it. So I make it relatively regularly, and it was all by accident. Um, so yeah, no, I've made this to show you that people can cook. It's easy if you love it, and it's easy if you have a passion for it. And we have a saying in Italy: you feed the people you love. So um, whenever I do cook, I put my love in it because it's my way of showing my friends and family how much I care about them. So yeah, even this, which okay isn't the most complicated dish, but just put some love in it, and people can tell. My microwave should be almost done. The salmon is looking good. It's looking very good. You'll see it in a minute. Actually, 10 seconds to be to be precise. Everything will be done in time. Fantastic. Let's see which one goes off first. It's a symphony. So I'm going to grab my rice first. So you can see they've gotten quite big. And I am going to place out my rice. Be careful with this. This is like the temperature of the sun, or the temperature equivalent of the McDonald's apple pie. So I'm going to place this in here. And then, oh, the second one. And what I'm going to do, that's nice and hot. My sauce is almost there. You'll see it in a second. And I need this again, my trusty friend. I'm just going to spread it out a little bit. I mean, I could never make rice like this. Strangely, I don't know how to make like loose rice. I only know how to make risotto, which technically is more complicated, but it's just not something I've ever cooked. I've got a lot of Arab and Iranian friends, and I am going to ask them when the pandemic is done to teach me how to make rice, um, because I've had some amazing rice dishes at their houses, and I just want to learn how to make it. So what we said before is that I'm going to put a little layer of sesame onto the rice below, and this is just to give some flavor to the rice as well. I mean, it is coconut flavor, but we want a little bit of crunch bits. There we go. Just gonna push that in a little bit, and I'll show you my salmon in a second. The rest of this will go on top of the salmon. Okay, my sauce is almost there. And my salmon is looking really, really good. How good does that look? Ignore the black bits. That's because there is sugar in this teriyaki salmon. And so sugar burns very easily in the oven. But that's not the parts we're eating. We're eating the salmon, and the salmon is beautifully browned. Beautifully. It looks good, huh? So I'm going to get my trusty little spatula. and just put that in there. I'm gonna put this down because I started burning my hands. There we go. And I'm gonna have to clean that later. So this is what we look like. How gorgeous does that look? That's full of flavor. It's got a crispy outside, perfectly cooked in the middle. And we're gonna add now um, our other crunchy bits. Actually, let me take a picture. I'm gonna put it on Instagram. You guys can watch me take a picture. How exciting. You can say you were there. Oh, she looks good. She looks nice. Smile for me. She's smiling. Oh yeah. Okay, that's me done being creepy. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna put some more of this sesame on top. Sesame, scallion, just a little bit everywhere. I'm not gonna do a salt bay because these stick everywhere because of the oils that I mentioned earlier. We don't want that. It's already sticking on my fingers. So I like to put a lot of sesame just because it gives really, really nice nutty flavor. Go. And yeah, this looks perfectly cooked. Absolutely perfectly cooked. And very tasty. Let me put this away. Actually, I'm going to keep this because I've got my teriyaki sauce that has reduced. And what I'm going to do, instead of pouring it on top, which for some people might be just too much, I'm going to pour it into our dish here. And as you can see, it's not as liquid anymore. And with it cooling as well, it will get thicker. And it's got that nice onion flavor in it and a bit of sesame. So let me rinse this out. And place it in the sink to clean later. So yeah, guys, here's the final product. And I hope you have time to do it. As you saw, it really didn't take as much time to get this done. And it's a lovely dish that you can share, or you can even make an individual portion. Just get your one slice of salmon, get a little bit of teriyaki sauce, and use it 2 or 3 times. It's great. I always use one tub, but that's because I'm cooking for three. Um, three hungry people, which is probably the equivalent of 4 or 5. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and can't wait to see you next time. Thank you. Enjoy. Thank you so much, guys. See you soon.